Welcome to Just Asia, AHRC TV's weekly human rights program. These are the headlines. India's top court decriminalized homosexuality. Former child soldier barred from travel in Nepal. Indonesia's corruption watchdog names Malang City Council members in grave case. New UN Human Rights Chief makes first address. Urgent appeal from Indonesia. Welcome to AHRC TV's Just Asia. I'm Alexandra. This week, Just Asia begins with India, where the Supreme Court has decriminalized sexuality. In a landmark and much-awaited judgment, the country's top court on September 6 held that Section 377 of the Indian Penal Code violates Articles 14, 15, 19, and 21 of the Constitution of India, insofar as it criminalizes consensual sexual acts between adults in private. The fight to decriminalize homosexuality began with deceased HIV or AIDS activist Siddharth Gautam and the organization ABVA, which filed a public interest litigation against Section 377 in 1994. Almost 3 decades later, Section 377 finally stands decriminalized. India is reportedly home to more than 2.5 million people who identify as part of the LGBTQ community, and this judgment will finally allow them to walk freely, without fear of harassment from the police. It is hoped that the judgment will lessen the stigmatization of the community, enabling more LGBTQ Indians to identify themselves openly in companies and workplaces without discrimination. This judgment can also pave the way for the decriminalization of homosexuality in other Asian countries, especially Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. In many countries in Asia, people who identify as LGBTQ face severe violence and discrimination. Next, in Nepal, former child soldier Lenin Bista was prevented from flying to Thailand to participate in an international youth conference. After having been issued a boarding pass, clearing immigration at the Tribhuvan International Airport on August 24th, he was stopped by immigration officials from proceeding to the gate. Bista was told that he could not travel abroad because he was partially blacklisted that morning itself. After some discussion, Bista demanded for a reason in writing. At first, they told him that since it was an order from high authorities, they could not give him a reason in written form. But after a lot of requests, they handed him a paper mentioning that he did not have permission from the government to participate in the event. However, there is no legal provisions for getting approval from the government to travel abroad. Bista has filed an application at the National Human Rights Commission, which has already summoned the head of Immigration and Home Secretary for an inquiry. Bista also filed a writ at the Supreme Court, and the top court has ordered the defendant to present a written response.
यो प्रोग्राममा जान रोक लाग्ने एउटा मलाई के लाग्यो भने एउटा त यो राज्यले अब कस्तो खालको शासन पद्धतिको अभ्यास गर्न खोज्दैछ भन्ने कुरा पनि एउटा संकेत हो हैन उले अब एउटा म मार्फत चाहिँ एउटा ट्रायल गर्न खोजेको जस्तो त्यो चाहिँ मलाई महसुस भयो अर्को कुरा चाहिँ के भने एउटा सामान्य नागरिकले चाहिँ एउटा आफ्नो आवाजहरु चाहिँ उठाउन नपाउने स्वतन्त्रपूर्वक हिडुल गर्न नपाउने यो चाहिँ राज्यसँग चाहिँ सोध्नु पर्ने भनेर जसरी एउटा ट्रायल गर्न खोज्यो नि यो चाहिँ नितान्त रूपमा चाहिँ यो जुन गणतन्त्रमा कल्पना गरेको थियो जुन लोकतन्त्रमा कल्पना गरेको थियो यो चाहिँ नियम विपरीत यो चाहिँ संविधान विपरीत चाहिँ जुन क्रियाकलाप अगाडि बढाएको छ यसले चाहिँ पक्कै पनि भविष्यमा एउटा तानाशाहको चाहिँ स्वरूप देखाएको छ कि अब जनता हिजो जसरी राजतन्त्रमा पञ्चायत कालमा जसरी लोकमान सिंह कार्कीको पालोमा जसरी त्रसित हुनुपर्ने जसरी विदेश जान वञ्चित हुनुपर्ने अवस्था थियो अहिले गणतन्त्रमा पनि त्यसको अभ्यास चाहिँ यो गृह मन्त्रालयले चाहिँ सुरु गर्यो यो चाहिँ एकदम निन्दनीय कार्य हो अब आज हुन त अब आज एउटा दुईटालाई पर्यो भनेर चाहिँ चुप लाग्ने अवस्था छैन हैन भोलि अब जे पनि हुन सक्छ यो राज्यले चाहे भने चाहिँ मानवाधिकार पनि मान्दिन भनेको जस्तो हैन कसैको राइट पनि मान्दिन यो संविधानले राइट चाहिँ लेखेको छ तर त्यो लेख्नमा मात्र सीमित हो म यो संविधान चाहिँ मान्दिन भने जस्तो जुन क्रियाकलाप अगाडि बढाए नि यो चाहिँ एकदम निन्दनीय नै हो यो कार्यलाई चाहिँ हामीले प्रोत्साहन दियौँ, आज हामीले यो विषयमा बोलेनौँ भने यसले चाहिँ तानासालाई बढावा दिन्छ भन्ने हो। मेरो माग त अब हामी राज्यलाई हामीले अभिभावककै रूपमा पाउँ फेरि पनि होइन, राज्यका संयन्त्रहरूबाट चाहिँ हामी त्रसित हुने भन्दा पनि उहाँहरूसँग हाम्रो चाहिँ हाम्रै अभिभावक हो भनेर हामीले सहज रूपमा चाहिँ छलफल गर्न सक्ने वातावरण चाहिँ हुनुपर्छ र सबैको आवाज यो राज्यले सुन्नुपर्छ। राज्यसँग कोही डराउनु हुँदैन। राज्यले पनि त्यस्तो एकदम हिंस्रक रूपमा जसरी प्रस्तुत भइरहेको छ यो अवस्था चाहिँ राज्यले एकदम कन्ट्रोल गर्नुपर्छ, यो चाहिँ हुनु हुँदैन।
Moving to Indonesia, the country's corruption watchdog has named 41 parliament members of Malang City, East Java province, as suspect in an alleged bribery case related to the city's budget deliberation for the 2015 budget year. This has raised concerns regarding disruption to local government functions. As with 41 of 45 Malang City Council members implicated in the corruption case, the council cannot reach the quorum of 50% plus 1 at the meeting. Corruption in the public and private sphere continues to be a serious problem in Indonesia, despite the existence of the Corruption Eradication Commission, known as the KPK, for more than 10 years. Earlier in March this year, the KPK named 38 members and former members of the North Sumatra Province Legislative Council as grave suspects. While the present situation is better compared to the era of former dictator Suharto, there remains considerable corruption in the country. Since 1998, corruption cases have been documented at almost all levels of government, including city council members. Not only do these cases endanger public services, rule of law, and democracy in Indonesia, but public officials protect each other to avoid criminal prosecution. A serious government drive to eradicate corruption is thus needed to overcome the present situation. Next, the new UN Human Rights Chief, Michelle Bachelet, made her first key speech on Monday. At the opening of the 39th session of the Human Rights Council in Geneva, two-time Chilean President Bachelet succeeds Saad Rad al-Hussein. In her speech, Bachelet noted that crimes appear to be continuing against the Rohingya in Burma, while hailing India's recent decision to decriminalize homosexuality. She called on the governments of Bangladesh and Cambodia to do more to respect and protect civil and political rights of their citizens. Political differences may divide some of the countries in this room, but upholding human rights is in the interest of every state. Your peoples seek a common agenda, rights, sustainable development, and peace, Bachelet emphasized. The daughter of a general who opposed Augusto Pinochet's overthrow of Chilean President Salvador Allende in 1973, Bachelet became involved in human rights activism in the 1970s. She and her parents were political prisoners, and her father died in detention. Bachelet is a pediatrician and public health expert by training. She was also director of UN Women. According to Kenneth Roth of Human Rights Watch, Bachelet's experience makes her the perfect human rights commissioner. As a former victim herself, she brings a unique perspective to the role of a vigorous defense of human rights. People worldwide will depend on her to be a public and forceful champion, especially where offenders are powerful, said Roth. Finally, the Urgent Appeals Weekly features one case from Indonesia, where a Polish tourist and other indigenous Papuan were arrested in Jayawijaya Regency, Papua. The police have accused the tourist of misusing his visa and being involved in selling illegal bullets in Papua. Civil society and human rights organizations are urging the police to be more transparent in investigating the case. That is all for this episode of Just Asia. For more on this and other issues, please visit www.humanrights.asia or www.alrc.asia/justasia. Thank you for watching and see you next week.